talent can be described as that which we have, and genius as that which has us. In the work of the French artist Jehan Vibert we find talent in abundance. From his youth Vibert had the aptitude and the family history of a deep appreciation for the arts. At the tender age of 16, Jehan Georges Vibert entered the prestigious École des Beaux-Arts in Paris in 1856, embarking on what would become a transformative journey that would shape his distinctive artistic vision. Born in 1840 to a family already steeped in artistic tradition, his father was an engraver, young Vibert displayed an early aptitude that caught the attention of his instructors. Vibert mastered the fundamental principles of academic painting, precise draftsmanship, careful observation of light and shadow, and the polished finish that characterized the French academic tradition. The academic environment of the École des Beaux-Arts in the 1850s was rigorous and competitive. Students were expected to master classical techniques through endless hours of drawing from plaster casts and live models. Vibert excelled in these foundational exercises. Yet even during these serious academic pursuits, fellow students recalled that Jehan possessed a remarkable ability to observe human behavior with both precision and subtle humor, and find within them something delightfully ridiculous. Even during our most serious life-drawing sessions, there was something in his sketches that captured not just the model's pose, but their character. Like many ambitious students of his generation, Vibert set his sights on the Prix de Rome, the most coveted award that would guarantee a funded residency at the Villa Medici in Rome. Around 1860, during his later years at the École, he prepared for the competition with a historical painting, as required by the traditional format. While the exact subject of his submission remains undocumented, contemporary accounts suggest it demonstrated the technical mastery he had acquired. Although Vibert did not win the Prix de Rome, the experience proved formative in developing his artistic identity. Vibert would eventually forge his own path, using his master's rigorous training to create works of satirical observation, particularly his celebrated depictions of clerical life. The relationship between master and student exemplified the French academic system at its best. Upon leaving the École des Beaux-Arts, Vibert wasted no time in establishing his presence in the official art world. His debut at the Paris Salon marked the beginning of a career that would both delight and scandalize the French art establishment. His early Salon submissions focused on genre scenes and portraits, but it was his turn toward clerical subjects that truly captured public attention. When asked about his fascination with ecclesiastical themes, Vibert explained, "I choose to paint clergy not from irreverence, but from profound observation. These men, supposedly above worldly concerns, reveal through their very humanity the contradictions that make us all so wonderfully absurd." The critics' reception was decidedly mixed. Théophile Gautier, the influential critic and poet, wrote in La Presse, "Monsieur Vibert possesses undeniable skill, but one wonders if his treatment of sacred subjects crosses the line between gentle satire and unseemly mockery." However, other critics embraced his fresh approach. Edmond Duranty, champion of realism, declared, "Here at last is an artist who dares to show us clergy as they truly are, not idealized saints, but men with appetites, ambitions, and human failings." Monsieur Vibert's breakthrough came with paintings like The Missionary's Adventures and The Cardinal's Breakfast, works that depicted ecclesiastical figures in moments of very human indulgence. Art critic Paul Mance observed, "Monsieur Vibert's cardinals and abbots are painted with such loving attention to their earthly pleasures that we cannot help but smile, even as we recognize the artist's gentle criticism of institutional hypocrisy." Not all reactions were favorable. Conservative critic Louis Hénault wrote scathingly, "Such paintings, however skillfully executed, represent a degradation of art's noble mission. Sacred subjects deserve reverence, not this sort of theatrical buffoonery." During this period, Vibert began experimenting with painting mediums, driven by his dissatisfaction with the limitations of traditional oil paints. Working in his studio on Rue de la Tour des Dames, he developed what would become known as Vibert's medium, a revolutionary mixture that allowed for unprecedented precision and luminosity in his small format paintings. This innovation attracted considerable attention from fellow artists. I confess myself intrigued by Vibert's technical discoveries. His medium achieves effects of clarity and brilliance that I had thought impossible in oil painting. The celebrated academic painter Alexandre Cabanel was more effusive. Vibert's medium represents a genuine advance in our craft. The luminosity he achieves in his ecclesiastical scenes, the way light plays across silk and velvet, surpasses anything I have seen. The secret of this medium lay in his innovative use of aluminum hydroxide mixed with specially prepared oils and resins. The mixture allowed him to achieve the precise, enamel-like finish that became his trademark. American artist Will Lowe, who visited his studio, reported, "Watching the artist work with his special medium was like watching a medieval master at his craft. Each brushstroke could be controlled with mathematical precision, yet the final effect remained beautifully organic." Word of Monsieur Vibert's technical innovation spread throughout the international art community. The medium became so associated with his success that other artists began requesting the formula. Initially secretive about his methods, eventually published the recipe, demonstrating a generosity that won him admirers even among critics of his subject matter. By 1870, he had established himself as both a technical innovator and a distinctive artistic voice. His clerical scenes, painted with jewel-like precision using his revolutionary medium, had found an enthusiastic audience both in France and abroad. The stage was set for the international success that would define the next phase of his career. The year 1870 proved pivotal for Jehan Vibert in ways both tragic and triumphant. The outbreak of the Franco-Prussian War interrupted his flourishing artistic career when he enlisted to serve his country. During the siege of Paris, he sustained wounds that would affect him for the remainder of his life, but his service earned him the Legion of Honor and deep respect from his contemporaries. Writer and critic Edmond de Goncourt noted in his journal, "Monsieur Vibert's wounds from the siege have not dimmed his artistic vision, but seem to have sharpened his eye for human folly. His post-war paintings carry a weight they did not possess before." The 1870s also marked the beginning of Vibert's extraordinary success with American collectors. His small, precisely painted scenes of ecclesiastical life proved irresistible to wealthy Americans building art collections. William T. Walters of Baltimore became one of his most devoted patrons, eventually owning over 30 of his paintings. Walters wrote to a friend, "Jehan's paintings possess a quality I find nowhere else. They are simultaneously beautiful and amusing, technically masterful yet accessible to anyone who has observed human nature." The American appetite for his work seemed insatiable. Art dealer Paul Durand-Ruel reported, "I cannot import Vibert's paintings fast enough to satisfy American demand." There is something about his gentle satire of clergy that particularly appeals to the American sensibility, perhaps because it confirms their Protestant suspicions while delighting their love of fine craftsmanship. In fact, this American enthusiasm translated into considerable financial success. By the 1880s, his paintings commanded prices rivaling those of the most established academic masters. Critic Henry James, writing from Paris, observed, "The phenomenon of Monsieur Vibert's American success reveals something fascinating about transatlantic taste. Here is an artist whose French critics remain divided, yet whose work sells to Americans faster than he can produce it." The scale of his American success can be measured in specific sales. His painting, The Fortune Teller, sold to a New York collector for 25,000 francs in 1878, an enormous sum for a living artist. American art critic S. W. Benjamin wrote, "Monsieur Vibert has achieved something remarkable. He has created paintings that function simultaneously as fine art and as gentle social commentary, speaking to collectors who might otherwise find academic painting stiff and satirical art as crude. Despite his commercial success, the artist never abandoned his commitment to technical excellence and innovation. He continued refining his special medium, and his later works achieved an almost porcelain-like perfection. Fellow artist Carolus Duran remarked, "Jehan's technique has reached a point where the medium itself seems to disappear, leaving only pure vision translated directly to canvas." In his later years, Jehan undertook the writing of his autobiography, completed shortly before his death in 1902. The book provides fascinating insights into his artistic philosophy and practical advice that reveals his deep understanding of the craft. Among his most memorable observations, "The secret of painting is not in the hand, but in the eye. Technical skill can be taught, but the ability to see, truly see, the world's beautiful absurdities cannot be learned from any master." On the relationship between artist and subject he wrote, "I have spent my career painting clergymen not because I wish to mock religion, but because these men, in their very humanity, reveal truths about all of us. The cardinal enjoying his wine, the abbot examining his treasures. These are not criticisms, but celebrations of human nature." His practical advice to young painters was characteristically precise. "Master your medium completely, but never let technique become an end in itself. The viewer should see your vision, not your brushwork. And remember, a painting that makes people smile while making them think has achieved something rarer than mere beauty." Perhaps most tellingly, he reflected on the nature of artistic success. "I have been blessed to see my work bring pleasure to collectors across 2 continents, but I measure my true success by a different standard. Have I helped people see the world with slightly more compassion and considerably more humour? If so, then my brushes have not been wielded in vain." Jehan Vibert was leaving behind a body of work that continues to charm viewers more than a century later. His technical innovations influenced a generation of painters, while his gentle satirical vision provided a model for artists seeking to combine social commentary with supreme craftsmanship. In bridging the gap between academic excellence and popular appeal, between French sophistication and American enthusiasm, Monsieur Vibert created a unique legacy that speaks to the enduring power of art that is both beautiful and human. Jehan Vibert's exceptional technical skill, superb draftsmanship, and keen humour created work that remains as captivating today as it did in the 19th century, delighting viewers with its sharp social commentary and brilliant drawing. And lastly, be sure to check the link below for our e-book offers at a special savings. They will inspire and challenge the creative process in your daily work.